On an old weathered farm, tucked away between rolling hills and endless fields, life moved at a quiet, unhurried pace. The air was filled with the scent of hay and damp earth, and the only sounds were the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze and the distant lowing of cattle. Inside a rustic barn, shafts of golden afternoon light cut through the dusty air, illuminating a small, cozy corner where a mother cat lay curled around her precious newborn kittens. They were just a few days old, their eyes still sealed shut, their tiny bodies snuggled close to her for warmth and safety. It was a picture of perfect tranquility, a moment of pure, undisturbed peace. But in the wild, peace is often just the calm before the storm. The silence was about to be shattered. A sinuous shadow began to creep along the barn floor, silent and unnoticed. It was a large, dark snake, drawn in from the fields by the promise of warmth and an easy meal. Its scales scraped almost silently against the dry straw as it advanced, its forked tongue flicking in and out, tasting the air, sensing the heat of life nearby. It moved with a chilling purpose, its cold, unblinking eyes fixed on the small, helpless family nestled in the hay. The snake coiled and uncoiled, its movements fluid and deadly, as it drew closer and closer to the unsuspecting kittens, each inch bringing it nearer to its prey. The peaceful scene was now hanging by a thread, about to descend into a terrifying nightmare. The mother cat, whose name was Ginger, stirred from her light slumber. A primal instinct, a sixth sense that only a mother possesses, sent a jolt of alarm through her. Her ears twitched and her head lifted, her green eyes scanning the barn. At first she saw nothing, but the air felt different, heavy with a silent threat. Then she saw it. The dark, slithering form just feet from her babies. Her body went rigid, a low, guttural growl rumbling deep in her chest. Every maternal instinct screamed at her, and without a moment's hesitation she rose to her feet, placing her own body directly between the monstrous serpent and her vulnerable kittens. She was no longer just a mother. She was a shield, a guardian, a warrior. The air in the barn grew thick with tension. The snake paused, its head raised, its gaze locked with Ginger's. A tense and terrifying standoff began. Ginger's fur stood on end, making her seem larger than she was. She arched her back, her tail puffed up, and a fearsome hiss ripped through the silence, a sound of pure, unadulterated fury. The snake responded in kind, its own hiss a chilling, sibilant threat as it swayed from side to side, sizing up its opponent. Despite the snake being nearly twice her size, a creature of ancient, cold-blooded terror, Ginger did not flinch. She held her ground, her eyes burning with a protective fire. In a blur of motion, the snake lunged forward, its fangs bared. But Ginger was faster. She met the attack head-on, lashing out with a paw, her claws extended like tiny daggers. What followed was a desperate, chaotic struggle for life. The snake, enraged, coiled its powerful body, attempting to encircle the frantic cat. Dust and straw flew into the air as they tumbled and fought across the barn floor. Ginger was a whirlwind of claws and teeth, a small, furry tempest of maternal rage. She dodged and weaved, striking at the snake's head again and again, refusing to give an inch. The snake struck back, its fangs narrowly missing her, but she was relentless. There were moments of heart-stopping suspense, where the snake's muscular body wrapped around her, squeezing tight. For a terrifying second, it seemed she would be crushed. But driven by the faint, frightened mews of her kittens, she found a reserve of strength she never knew she had, tearing and biting until she was free once more. The terrible sounds of the battle, the hissing, the spitting, the thuds of bodies hitting the wooden floor, echoed out of the barn and across the farmyard. The farmer, an old man named Silas who had been mending a fence nearby, heard the commotion. Recognizing the sounds of a life-or-death struggle, he dropped his tools and sprinted toward the barn, his heart pounding with dread. He burst through the wide wooden doors, his eyes struggling to adjust to the dim light. What he saw made his blood run cold. Ginger, his gentle barn cat, locked in a ferocious battle with a venomous snake. Without a second thought, he grabbed a long, sturdy pitchfork that was leaning against the wall and rushed forward, shouting to distract the serpent. He jabbed the pitchfork near the snake's head, forcing it to release its hold and retreat. The snake, startled by the new, larger threat, quickly uncoiled and slithered away, disappearing through a crack in the barn wall as quickly as it had appeared. The barn fell silent once more, the only sound being the heavy, ragged breathing of the exhausted mother cat. Ginger lay on the hay-strewn floor, trembling, her body covered in dust and a few bleeding scratches. But she was alive. Her kittens, sensing the danger had passed, began to cry out for her. With what little strength she had left, she painfully dragged herself back to her nest. She collapsed beside them, nudging each one with her nose, her purr a low, shaky rumble of reassurance. She licked their tiny heads, cleaning them, comforting them, her mission accomplished. Her babies were safe. Silas watched from a distance, his heart swelling with a mixture of awe and relief. He brought her a bowl of fresh water and a piece of cooked chicken, a reward for her incredible bravery. Word of Ginger's heroic fight spread quickly through the small, tight-knit village. Farmers and their families would stop by Silas's farm, asking to see the brave mother cat who had stared down death. She became a local legend, a symbol of courage and devotion. Visitors would peer into the barn and see her, no longer a simple barn cat, but the guardian of the kittens, resting peacefully with her thriving brood. Her story was told and retold in the local pub and at dinner tables, a testament to the extraordinary power hidden within an ordinary creature. She had faced a mortal enemy, a force of nature far more powerful than herself, and had emerged victorious. From that day on, whenever anyone looked at the small, unassuming cat, they saw something more. They saw a heart filled with a love so fierce it could conquer any fear. Ginger's story served as a powerful reminder that courage is not about the absence of fear, but the will to act in spite of it. A mother's love knows no bounds, no logic, and no limits. It is a force capable of turning the meek into the mighty and the gentle into the ferocious. A love brave enough to face death itself, all for the sake of the ones she holds dear.